Hi, I'm Mike Wynn from Plight to Freedom, and here's my review on one of my favorite books of all times, The Frontiersmen by Allan W. Eckert. It's a narrative story about Simon Kenton, a frontiersman, a long hunter whose name should be synonymous with Daniel Boone's, especially if you live here in the Ohio and Kentucky areas. Um, Simon Kenton was an adventurer, a long hunter, a surveyor, an Indian fighter, a scout, a soldier, and he was the protector of immigrants coming to the Ohio and Kentucky territories during a time of the American Revolution where people were fleeing the conflict east only to end up in the conflict out west in the frontier. Um, he was the ultimate survivalist and a real life action hero. At the age of 16, he had to flee into the wilderness to avoid prosecution of a murder he believed he committed. Um, Years later, after becoming a hunter and trapper, he had to flee Indians who attacked his camp, forcing him to flee in the middle of the night and not just the night, for a week, butt naked in the wilderness with nothing to eat, till the Great House Party found him and saved him. He saved Daniel Boone's life at Harrodsburg. Uh, Incredible story. He actually chucked Daniel Boone's unconscious body into two Indians, charging him with tomahawks while a hail of gunfire was going on. Knocked one out and one, stunned. Dispatched one with his tomahawk and stomped the other Indian with his boot, only to swoop up Daniel Boone and run back to the fort. Amazing story. Uh, Eventually was captured by the Shawnee and forced to run the gauntlet 9 times. On his sixth attempt, he attempted an escape only to be resulted in Blue Jacket using the pipe end of his tomahawk to knock him unconscious for 2 days. Still, Simon had to run 3 more gauntlets. Gauntlet was when you had to run from the outer part of the village to the center building in the village while the entire tribe was there with sticks to hit you as you run past. Most people didn't make it 1 time. He had to run 9 times, and 3 of them after he was almost killed with a tomahawk blow to the head. Amazing. Um, while he was captured, they deemed him as the Catahota, which in Shawnee it means condemned to be burned at the stake. They attempted to do this 3 times, but unfortunately events occurred that saved Simon's life 3 times, eventually resulting in Simon escaping from Detroit all the way through Ohio and back into the Kentucky territory. Um, Simon went on to do countless other acts of bravery and amazing stories. This book offers many other examples on how to survive and live in a hostile environment or wilderness when you don't know who or what is around the next corner to take what you have. A few things that I picked up from reading this book was where and when to have a fire, and if it was cold, how to have a fire without other people knowing it. Such as Simon did a thing where he dug a Lakota fire pit, or like a Lakota fire pit, and he would take the bark of white oak and get that on fire. And this bark burns hot, and he would put that in the hole and almost smother it, cover it with dirt, and then wrap himself in his blanket and sit over that so he could stay there and warm, creating a little environment for himself right there in the woods while not having a fire, letting everybody know where he was. It's just brilliant. I also learned the importance of silence, situational awareness, knowing your environment and how to use it to your advantage. Know what plants you can use, what trees you can use. Think about, there's sounds in the woods that for some it's just a squirrel or a bird, but for me, it's a squirrel telling me there's something in the area, and the squirrel's warning me. If you're out in waste places or somewhere by a pond, you may notice red-winged blackbirds singing while they're circling around over top of you. Or even if they're doing that and you see it in the distance, you know there's something in that area and they're warning. So be aware of your environment and how you can use things in your environment to your advantage. Also, I learned how important it was even back then for physical fitness and mental acuity. Your body could go so far, but your mind can make your body go even further. You have to be in good shape. And my years of helping people prepare for certain situations, one thing that I wouldn't tell a lot of them, but I wanted to, was you may want to consider physical fitness. Because it's no good if you have all this gear and you can't walk out in the woods with it, or you only go a few miles and end up dumping half of it out on the side, which a lot of people will probably end up doing. That, and finally, tracking. This is something I've been working on for years. Tracking could tell you a lot: how to hunt, what the animals are doing, where they're going, how to get the animals for food, and it can also tell you what people are there and what they're doing, or how to avoid people if they're out there. Regardless, this is a book for you if you're a prepper, adventurer, outdoorsman, any of these things. Pick it up, read it, you can't go wrong. Thanks again for watching. This is Mike Wynn from Plight to Freedom.